Hello, welcome to Ikate's Crossing. Okay, a while ago I sort of started this series with section 1 of Who Were You? This book here discovers your past lives, age-old and modern techniques to unlock the timeless secrets of reincarnation. Okay, this has been a really sort of interesting series. I sort of stopped it for a while, but I thought, well, I would restart the series. If anyone's interested, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you've gone back and had a look at the last lot of episodes that I've done in this series. I always include a reading of some sort within the and I also may have links to extra information, etc. So make sure you check out those as well. Okay, so who were you? And we're up to are we an adaptable system? So this is quite interesting here. So theories of evolution either deny or ignore any reference to God or gods in the creation of the world as we know it. However, belief in a theory of evolution does not preclude religious beliefs. Creation stories such as are told in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament as regarded as metaphorical. Ideas about how we evolved vary in their details, but are all founded upon the assumption that when the earth was formed, very tiny living entities grew, reproduced and died in succession, and only the strongest survived. Evolutionists maintain that survival is the aim of every species. Thus, it was imperative to adapt to the conditions found on Earth. Are those conditions changed? So the living creatures changed. Some, such as trilobites and dinosaurs, developed and become extinct because they could not adapt. Okay, so we have two main theories of evolution. The common ancestry theory. This theory states that in the beginning there was one form of life that was not even a single cell, from which all living things have developed the various species, forming branches from a common tree of development. A diagram representing this theory of evolution is given, and I'll do that in a much clearer photo for you as well, which I'll include here in the video. Which I will include here in the video somewhere. Okay, so yeah, so there's that there. So this sort of explains, we've got the higher plants, green algae. Okay, we've got higher animals, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, molds, multinuclear flatworms, worms, protozoa, sponges, algae, diamantines. We've got viruses with flagellates, bacteria, and pre-cellular life. Adapting for physical. Then number 2, the parallel ancestry theory. This theory states that in the beginning there was one form of life from which several different species developed independently. A chart showing the appearance of different species on the geological time scale is given. While there is fossil evidence to show that fish, amphibia, and reptiles may have developed from a common branch, there is no conclusive evidence in the fossil records to suggest that any of the larger vertebrates shared a common ancestry. This may be because fossil remains have yet to be discovered. Number 2, or B, fossil remains have not been preserved, or C, species development was independent. And so this chart here shows that in detail, which I will share with you as well. Okay, adapting for physical survival. As species are we primarily a physical system, adaptable because we have a feedback loop. Evolutionary theory suggests that we are. How the system works. Suppose species X is receiving information from the environment that the climate is getting colder. Each individual can maintain its body heat within a limited range, but beyond that the species itself will have to adapt. The feedback loop adds information to the input, which tells species X that it has to mobilize its resources and make a fundamental evolutionary change. Evolutionists would maintain that the species decided to change driven by the need to survive. Species X survives in two ways: by the survival of only those members whose bodies best cope with climate, and by a lengthy process of adaptation in response to the change of climate. In the first instance, the species remains the same. In the second, a change takes place which alters the fundamental structure. Species X becomes species Y, a very close relative, but demonstrating an evolutionary difference. Species that can't make a change become extinct, and that line of branch of evolution ends. Is our spiritual life also a system? You may like to try drawing a diagram to illustrate a process of spiritual evolution, for example, through reincarnation, in which the feedback would be according to the law of karma. Physical or spiritual survival. If a species is committed to physical survival, that species must be totally self-centered. Self-centeredness is contrary to many religious beliefs, in which the soul must conquer the self in order to achieve eternal life. Dedication to spiritual survival can apparently play no part in the evolutionary process, or can it? What do you think? Is evolutionary adaptation incompatible with the search for eternal life? Furthermore, if reincarnation does occur, could it be that the evolution of body and soul is concurrent and interdependent? The split between religion and science has widened during this century. Yet some religions, such as Japanese Shintoism, and some scientific areas, such as nuclear physics, could appear to have much in common. Perhaps the rift between self and soul must be healed before we can fully understand the paradoxes of life. Okay, so let's have a look and see what information can we gain from this information. And the deck I'm going to use today is the Art Nouveau Tarot. Let me just grab it. Just take a minute. I do not want the Egyptian one. I think that's the problem I was grabbing. Right. So let's have a good shuffle and let's see what it can tell us about this chapter. Let's have a look. Let's see what information we get after we've read. Are we an adaptable system? Let's have a look and see what the cards have to say about it. Are we an adaptable system? First card we get is Queen of Chalices. So for me, it's very much about our emotions, our nurturing of ourselves, nurturing others, motherhood. That sense of, I think, once we nurture ourselves, we're able to be adaptable. We are an adaptable system once we come from that sense of nurturing. That's quite interesting. So let's have a look and see, what else is popping out here. Here we've got Queen of Wands as well. So it's very telling me that it's very much about feminine, that sense of feminine energy, that sense of being receptive, being open, being dynamic, bold, nurturing, caring. I think there's a lot of that sort of being receptive, being nurturing sort of energies coming in here, which is quite important. I think that's going to be enabling us to be sort of dynamic and bold and confident. That allows us, if we're confident, we're able to adapt. And the next card that flew out was actually the Seven of Wands. Standing up for our beliefs as well can be quite important, looking at our convictions. I think acknowledging what our beliefs are is quite important here. Being able to be assertive without being aggressive. Again, you get that sense of being confident. Enables us to sort of be adaptable. What an interesting reading. Okay, this card here is popping out here, and we get the Knight of Wands. And so the Knight of Wands tells us that we've sort of moved quite quickly through time. We adapt quickly with situations as long as we have all the information that we need. Again, we get that sense of being passionate, creative, that sense of desires, that energy, that spiritual energy that comes in, moves quite quickly within our own journey. Oops, and we have one more card here, which is the King of Chalices. And so the King of Chalices is to me to be kind, caring, that sense of having, but being practical at the same time, maybe not wearing our emotions on our sleeve all the time, even though we are nurturing and caring, bold, confident. There's also a sense of compromise in a way with the practical approach to what's going on. Like, I feel like the King of Chalices in this reading is quite he sort of dreams big, and he has this kind and caring energy, but he's not full on emotion. He doesn't really he doesn't sort of dig deep into the situation or dive deep into the situation. He sort of holds back a little bit, dipping your toe in, finding out the information, getting where he needs to be, and then being able to sort of move forward on the journey. So I think that's very interesting. Yeah, okay, this card here seems to be popping out here. Again, we get the Queen of Pentacles, so I think you need to be firm. That assertiveness is coming through here quite strongly. So you're getting a very symbolic, sort of receptive, confident, nurturing, kind and caring, nurturing type energy, being able to care for oneself as well as caring for others, being able to be assertive, being able to have that sense of, I just get that sense of standing up for one's convictions, standing up for what one believes, and having that sense of, again, with an Empress as well, which is quite interesting. So again, you get that sense of birthing into something new, being creative, being nurturing, motherhood, mother figure sort of energy coming in. So there's a lot for us to be adaptable. These are some of the things that are quite important to us as we move through the times. I think that's sort of the basic, the core energy that allows us to be adaptable. By sort of, in a way, even when you sort of stand up for your convictions and stand up for what you believe, it still allows you to sort of open up to other perspectives, because that sense of, and when I'm talking about not being aggressive, but being more assertive, being more confident, enabling us to sort of move forward. I mean, you can still stand up for your convictions, but yet still be flexible, is what I'm getting there. Is that sense of, yes, this is what I believe, but you can still be open to what other people believe. Even if you stand up for your own convictions, be open to what others believe as well. Is this, that sense of caring and nurturing others, maybe not dipping your toes in completely, is that reference there, in that sense of, even if you stand up for your own beliefs, you do not have to agree with everybody. It also allows you to be more open to other people's thoughts and ideas and perceptions and things like that. So what an interesting reading there. So that's it from me with the way Who Were You book, and with the Art Nouveau Tarot. Okay, don't forget to check the links down below, check the links on my channel, like, subscribe and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care. Blessed be.